Good afternoon. Apologies for starting a bit late. There are just two issues, but the first one I would like to go in a bit of a detail because it's important to highlight as to how this government has not only failed the people of India, but it is so defiant even of the Supreme Court. So it is necessary that I go into a bit of detail. I hope you'll have the patience to listen to me. This is about a very important issue, and that is related to the black money matter. All of you are aware that Supreme Court today gave in no uncertain terms a comment about this government. 3 years ago, the Supreme Court had very clearly given instructions to the government saying that the list of names of black money account holders be disclosed with the petitioner, be produced to the petitioner forthwith. That was the word which was used by the Supreme Court when it ordered the government to produce that list which had come from Liechtenstein. But after giving the order, till today, the Supreme Court was astonished to, as we get the reports, astonished to know that the government hadn't even produced the list which was ordered by the Supreme Court. It gave one or the other reason to say, no, we can't give it because there is a review petition. And when the review was not entertained by the Supreme Court, even then it didn't produce. So today, the Supreme Court had very clearly used the words, yesterday's order, that it is a gross contempt of court. Can there be a greater chiding of a government by the Supreme Court? Contempt of court for 3 years. You have not even produced the list which was ordered by the Supreme Court. And you've been misleading this country about what action they are taking as regards getting the black money from various different countries, tax havens abroad. Just to recall very quickly, during 2009 election campaign, I begin with saying this. During 2009 election campaign, Shri Advani ji repeatedly raised the issue of black money, getting the black money back to this country, and every time in his campaign he underlined it. And you also know that during that campaign, repeatedly the Congress party only mocked at Shri Advani, saying, what are you talking about black money and so on. And the context in which Advani ji referred to the black money, let it be understood, because I'm sure a lot of times when we spoke about black money, we have been, in all fairness, asked by the media also as to what did you do during the NDA time. So in order to address that question, which will naturally come in all our minds, let's understand that it was only by December 2005, the United Nations Convention Against Corruption was made or brought into effect. December 2005 is when it was brought into effect, and by which time the NDA was out of power. Post that, 2004 when it came to power, and subsequently even in 2008, this government did not take any effort to ratify that convention. And what would that convention benefit you with? It would have helped to share information between nations so that any kind of action can be taken on your own citizens who, violating the law of the land, stack their money abroad. Now, if that convention, which gives you the advantage of being able to procure information from countries where your money is being illegally kept, was itself only made effective as of December 2005, we would only expect that this government takes enough and adequate steps in order that you will be able to get the benefit of that information sharing. And let's underline the fact that that became effective December 2005 during the UPA government's time. But this government not only doesn't take advantage of that convention which has been signed, but the ratification was delayed by this government. That's a very important point for us to notice. 2005, you get the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, which would have given you the advantage of lots of information from various countries from where you actually would have, had the information to act upon. Not only that you're not trying to get information, but you delay the ratification. You delayed the ratification till May 2011, by which time in this country there was enough pressure on the government to get the money back, and there was a lot of political, pulling and pushing. Let's remember that the Prime Minister of this country, Dr. Manmohan Singh, had, as soon as he assumed office, given a promise to this country that within 100 days he'll act upon it. So let's not forget those very important mileposts. The Prime Minister promises that within 100 days he will take steps to get the money back. But no, not till 2011 do they even ratify the convention. Now after that, in January 2011, you also had a lot of pressure, and Shri Pranab Mukherjee, then the finance minister, held a specific exclusive press conference to talk about what steps this government would take in getting the money back. After that, several committees were formed. The whole thing went on getting, dragged. And then, most importantly, in July 2011, the Supreme Court came down heavily on the government, saying, what is it that you're doing towards getting the money back? July 2011. And it is that judgment yesterday in the court was referred to, saying even in July 2011, we had asked you to give the names, disclose the names that you obtained from Liechtenstein. But no, till today you have not even disclosed the names. And therefore, the Supreme Court has very clearly said that this government is in contempt of court, gross contempt of court. Incidentally, even in May 2012, this government came up with a white paper on getting the black money. And there were media reports which said white lies in white paper in getting the black money. These are not my words, these are words in the media. You bring up a white paper, you hold a specific press conference, you assure in the parliament, the Prime Minister gives a promise, within 100 days he would get it. But today the Supreme Court had to tell this government that you have not done a thing and you are in contempt of court. This explains clearly that this party has no will to work on black money. It is only misleading the nation. And as regards a very important thing about failing to take action even on Hassan Ali, the tax evader, on whom the Supreme Court again spoke. And all this prompted that the Supreme Court said it will take over the investigation and formed an SIT. What is important here is, even at this stage, to understand that the government took a very flimsy excuse to say, well, let the SIT finish the inquiry, after that I will submit the names. Utterly shameful. Supreme Court gives you an order, you don't give the names, and then till today you give us flimsy excuse saying, SIT, let it complete its investigation, after that we give you the names. It is defining the course of this investigation itself, much against the will of the Supreme Court. And even on that, the Supreme Court has come down heavily to say, why are you telling? I mean, what is it? SIT investigation doesn't have to be linked up with this. We have already said, produce the list forthwith. And 3 years have passed and you have not even produced the list. And on Hassan Ali, the BJP very clearly observes that the Congress party has not taken any effort. Leave getting the names from outside. Those tax evaders in this country have not been acted upon. This is a complete hypocritical approach of this government. It's very clearly talking one thing and doing nothing. Talking to please the court, talking to please the people of India, talking to please in the parliament, saying we are giving you some reports, but no action has followed in this matter of black money. And therefore, we charge this government, as we said during our charge sheet release also, that on black money, this government has failed the people of India. But I would like to draw your attention to say, whenever Congress party is in power, corruption-related scandals, inflation, inaction are all linked with one another. Very clearly linked with one another, and because of that, crime in society increases. Congress party is not worried about restoring some kind of an order in these matters, and there is this, therefore, a very clear connect, which you also see in terms of the way in which they are handling the election and election-related matters. They were the ones who even went to the extent of passing through ordinance a protection for convicted legislatures. When the public opinion went against them, you knew how Rahul Gandhi had to walk into one of their official press conferences to tear up the ordinance. This is the party which went to the extent of getting an ordinance to protect convicted legislatures. And better sense had to prevail because the public opinion went against them. So let us not miss the link. Corruption, scandals, no action against black money, these are very clearly indicative of the way in which this government functions, and today the Supreme Court coming down heavily on them proves the point. The second issue which I would like to raise is we've always been saying that the Congress party during this election campaign has not given any message. What is it that they are telling the people of India? To seek their vote, and what is it that they want through which they can have their mandate renewed? No message at all. But today, you can be clear and sure that there is utter confusion. Utter confusion in the Congress war room. Their strategies are going haywire. They started off with Sri Rahul Gandhi coming out and saying, no, I don't approve of such languages in public discourse. Then he himself breaks that norm. Breaks that norm to talk about things which are absolutely personal about the affidavit which has been filed by Sri Narendra Modi. And when everybody, inclusive of the media, raised questions, he next day in Amethi comes out after filing his nominations to say, no, I didn't raise anything personal. He had to quickly retract. Post which they were not sure as to what is going to be the message or the campaign, the spirit of the campaign. Then they launched Srimati Sonia Gandhi to have an address to the nation with bought time in the televisions. Address to the nation at a time when the polling for 4 different polling dates have all been completed. Suddenly you change of track. And again, since yesterday, there is a change of track. An emotional appeal from Srimati Priyanka Vadra. An appeal which says, don't hit me personally. Oh, you thought there is, a sense of owning up of Mr. Vadra, who till today we've been told by all the cabinet ministers. The day this came up in public 2 years ago, you had all the cabinet ministers coming down to say, oh no, you can't touch him because he's a private citizen. Oh no, you can't question him because he's a private citizen. And yesterday, suddenly you have the family member owning it up, the first family which governs the party. And we thought, therefore, and as Sri Arun Jaitley had written in his blog today, we thought, well, okay, we agree with her. The Congress party should now take the counsel of Priyanka Vadra before they even make a personal comment on others, because personal comments can, hurt, and emotionally you get upset and you appeal to the voters saying this is not fair, khator shabd hai, vagera. What has happened today? She has broken her own rule. Even she has started talking about personal matters. The Congress party has no message. And in addition, they are absolutely confused Whether they want to be personal, whether they want to be, public, whether they want to talk about issues which have nothing to answer. They don't have anything to answer. So to run away from answering, are we going to be personal? Are we not going to be personal? Are we going to be emotional? Are we going to hit at the opponent? Make up your mind, Congress party. Make up your mind. You owe an answer to the people of India for having messed up the economy for the last 10 years. You're not answering any of the questions raised by the BJP leaders. And to add salt in the wound of the people of India, you go about raising issues which are not for the core debate of this country. The people of India today want to know why they're losing their jobs, why they have to pay through their nose for basic essentials. They are asking you questions as to why our roads are not built. And why after 10 years, even today, we don't get electricity in many of those urban centers, leave the villages. And on these very issues, Sri Narendra Modi has proved by working to these objectives. And how many ever times that the Congress party would lecture to us on, oh, what is this Gujarat model? I'm sure when they're visiting Gujarat, I'm sure as a part of their campaign, their senior leadership would visit Gujarat. They see it for themselves, that 24/7 there is power in Gujarat. Not so in Congress-ruled Maharashtra. Congress has also been in power for 10 years in Maharashtra. Not so till recently in Rajasthan. Not certainly so in Assam. So there are simple, straightforward indicators on which they can assess what is happening in Gujarat. I welcome the visit by most of the senior leadership to Gujarat to go see the facts and not get dissuaded by the leaders of Congress party in Gujarat who have not even won one election in the last 20 years. You're being misled by your own leadership, Congress party, by your own leadership in Gujarat, which doesn't have public approval. Do your homework, go see what's happening in Gujarat. Don't mislead the people on black money or even in developmental matters as regards what's happening. Thank you. No, this extent I can't speak in Hindi, you know it. So it's all right. Desperation, that is exactly what I've said on my own. Even proactively we've taken this issue up. Congress is desperate. We thought there was a facade being created by the Congress party saying we'll never talk on matters which are personal. A pretense. And the next day Rahul Gandhi himself broke it. Today, after giving a very emotional appeal about don't hurt my family, it's important for me, I'll stand up to defend my members of family. Very well. We welcome your position on that. But what is this now? You can go about talking about the personal matters of others? I thought Rahul Gandhi himself withdrew from that terrain. Now she would want to do it. But the most important part of this whole debate is they do not know what will work for them. So every twist and turn is being attempted. Nothing is going to work for them in their favor, because they failed the people of India the last 10 years.
Ma'am, Congress is saying this is not at all personal. This is about infringement of rights of an individual. And that's why BJP's allegation that Priyanka Gandhi is breaking up an individual or a personal issue is absolutely wrong. It's a big issue and they're trying to hit back at Amit Shah and Narendra Modi. So is BJP only taking it as a personal issue or are you going to hit back?
No, leave what the BJP takes it or doesn't take it. It's very clearly, there are two things in this. An attempt was made by the Home Minister Sushil Kumar Shinde to bring it into a larger focus and say, I'm going to investigate, and also issues in Himachal Pradesh and so on, knowing very well that's not possible, but never mind. And the second, are they suddenly getting very worried about rights of women? The lady in concern doesn't even have a issue. She's on the contrary, her father has issued a statement. I think the Congress party should be worried about women who have been affected by the misconduct of their own ministers, be it in the Haryana cabinet from where one of the ministers already gone out. Rajasthan. How many states do you want? Let them set their house to order. Recently in Latur, their own workers killed another co-worker of the party. Are they having any answers on those things? Here is a case of a woman who was oppressed by a bureaucrat, senior bureaucrat, who seeks help. Congress is in desperation. First of all, if he as an individual is doing it, first of all, we are on the same page with our state party. So the central party and the state parties are not on different, lens on this. And if you're asking me a question about democratic right of an individual, no issues at all. But here is somebody writing as the head of an institution, particularly an educational institution, when normally the institution doesn't play politics. And if the principal indeed was interested in discussing models of growth, A state compared with B state, certainly as a part of economics, he's very welcome to do, but he doesn't sit on just judgment as to which one is preferable and which is not. If he's trying to influence the minds of students who come to learn from his institution, that is certainly wrong.
On the issue of the development model of Gujarat, Modi can go and campaign across the country. He can talk about Gujarat, not in Tamil Nadu. Because the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has given the statistics information to the government of India on which are the areas the Tamil Nadu are ahead of Gujarat on food production, women, child, then foreign investment, industry, everything. Under these circumstances, since you represent Tamil Nadu, do you prefer the lady of Tamil Nadu or you prefer Modi of Gujarat?
Every state can have their own claims based on the data which is given by Government of India. But that doesn't mean that the Chief Minister of Gujarat cannot have his claims. He certainly.
False information, on this development.
Are you suggesting that he's doing false? Are you suggesting?
When you compare with the state which is ahead of Gujarat, you cannot give the wrong information.
Are you suggesting that the Chief Minister of Gujarat is giving false data?
No, I'm not suggesting.
Are you suggesting it? Huh?
I'm telling the fact.
No, you're telling the fact that he is saying incorrect information?
Exactly.
You're suggesting that?
No, I'm not suggesting. I'm bringing to your notice.
Now, I want to understand this better.
I'm bringing to your notice.
You're bringing to my notice that you are suggesting that the Chief Minister of Gujarat is saying false?
You have given a wrong information in the Madras Freedom Battle rally.
I see. Would you want to just point it out as to which are the ones which is given false? I will certainly get a clarification from the Gujarat government, because if you are suggesting that he said falsehood, I would want you to correct what are the right information on it. So please give us the data. I will suggest to the Chief Minister of Gujarat that here is a journalist who has told us this, and would he please give us the correct facts. Please do give us details specifically. We'll come back to you in a press conference to say what you have given us and what the Gujarat government would say on it. Huh? Whatever it, the list with all the details, I would appreciate if you can give it, and we'll come back to you with the facts to counter that.
Ma'am, if you care to comment about Shazia Ali's video, the fact that he actually on this YouTube video making an appeal, if you would like to comment on that.
Certainly, Aam Aadmi Party has now proven that based on the Congress Party's advice, they would continue with a campaign which is exactly what the Congress is doing. Confuse the people of India, claim things which are not due to themselves. If they are talking about a secular polity, what was this? Pseudo-secularism is what all of us from the BJP have been talking about, which the Congress party, a cottage industry, and a section of our society, which is indirectly funded and supported by the Congress party, has been carrying on all the 40-50 years. And here is another team in the name of Aam Aadmi Party, which is doing the very same thing in terms of propagating a secularism, which is only pseudo-secularism. The mask has fallen off. There's no way in which the Aam Aadmi Party can anymore pretend that they are the upholders of secular values. They are pseudo-seculars. They've claimed themselves that they were anarchists. Now they are pseudo-seculars as well. कांग्रेस बहुत कुछ कह सकता है और कांग्रेस बहुत कुछ कर भी सकता है, मगर वो भी ए और बी टीम का हिस्सा है. कांग्रेस ए टीम है और आम आदमी पार्टी बी टीम है. उनके तरफ से जो भी वो कहेंगे और जो भी पलटवार भी करेंगे वो सब चलता है उनके गाड़ी में. हो गया, जवाब दिया था. इसीलिए मैं जब उस विषय के ऊपर बात कर रही थी, ये विषय हमारी तरफ से ही मैं टिप्पणी की कि 2005 तक देशों के आपस में इंफॉर्मेशन शेयर करने के लिए कुछ व्यवस्था नहीं था और यूएन कन्वेंशन अगेंस्ट करप्शन ही ऐसे एक व्यवस्था बनाया गया जिसके तहत और जिसके द्वारा एक देश दूसरे देश के लिए इंफॉर्मेशन शेयर कर सकते थे और वो कानून 2005 में ही लागू हुई. उसको इस यूपीए सरकार ने 2011 तक रैटिफाई तक नहीं की. उसकी वजह से जितने भी आप चाहो उससे पहले दूसरे देश से इंफॉर्मेशन लेना भी मुश्किल था. इसीलिए यूपीए एनडीए के सरकार के समय तक इसमें खड़ी कार्रवाई करने का सुविधा नहीं था. और दूसरा एक और विषय है, स्विट्जरलैंड गवर्नमेंट ने 2011 में ही एक ऐसे कानून पास किया 11 में कि रेट्रिशन ऑफ इलीगल एसेट एक्ट 2011 में पास हुई. उसको उपयोग करते हुए फ्रांस और जर्मनी भी स्विट्जरलैंड में उनके जो गलत पैसा सेव करके अकाउंट्स था वो सब वापस ले पाए. फ्रांस और जर्मनी उसको उपयोग किए मगर हम आज तक उसको उपयोग नहीं किए. इसीलिए जितनी भी व्यवस्था में सुधार आया और उसके द्वारा हमें पावर भी मिला कि इंफॉर्मेशन लो, एक्ट भी करो, पैसा भी वापस ले आओ, इन सब को बाकी देश उपयोग कर रहे हैं, हम नहीं उपयोग कर रहे हैं और उससे पहले ये नहीं था. इसीलिए एनडीए इतना ज़्यादा नहीं कर पाई. नहीं, अब तक नहीं है, जहाँ जितना तक मेरे पास जानकारी है. महाराष्ट्र इज डूइंग, नॉट अस. थैंक यू. अगर यूपीए सरकार किसको बैन करेंगे? हिंदी में कुछ बोलते हैं ना, मैं इतना अच्छा बोल नहीं पाऊंगी. किसी का सुनहरे सपना, समथिंग लाइक दैट.